welcome to Red V TV as we continue our build-up to the 2023 season. And with 21 days to go before Saints take on the Penrith Panthers in the World Club Challenge, it is time for our number 21. Kevin?
It's time for Ben Davies. And Ben is proudly sponsored by Ace Odds Bet Calculator.
Ace Odds provide the most comprehensive and reliable suite of bet calculators. Their expertise also extends to finding the best bonus codes and sign-up promotions, with the occasional tip-off from their shrewd user base. But we must add, gamble responsibly.
When the fun stops, stop.
Hang on, they don't sponsor us, Kev. Breaking news from BBC. I don't know if that's how we picked up. Ben, he made a single appearance in 2021, and I think if you probably watch back last season's preview of him, I think we said he needed to be kicking on a little bit and getting towards double figures. He certainly did that in 2022. And I was actually surprised when I looked up the stats, Kev. He actually made 16 appearances last season, scoring 8 tries and a drop goal. And he really showed his utility value, didn't he?
He certainly did, yeah. I think we saw it last night in Mark Percival's testimonial as well, where he started off at centre and slotted in at half-back when the team started getting mixed about a little bit and we started making the substitutions. I think Ben possibly got a little bit of unfair criticism as well last season from some quarters, not from all Saints fans, but from some quarters who I don't know what they expect. I don't know if they expect a lad with one previous appearance in the season beforehand to come in and be Tommy Martin or be Sean Long or be Leon Price. But he came in and he was given a job to do at 6 when he played there, and he did the basic job that he was probably asked to do. He's not going to have been asked to, listen, we want you to run this play, we want you to do this and that. He's just another set of hands for the ball to go through. But saying that, I think we'll see him probably more in his centre / possibly second row position this season than at half-back, and it'll only be at half-back when needs must.
It probably shows just how much the club think of him, the fact that they gave him a 2-year extension, which takes him up until the end of 2024 rather than the rolling 1 years, which tends when we give the 1 years out, it's more you've still got to prove yourself if you want to stay at this club. 2 years tends to me to say, do you know what, you've earned that trust a little bit and you're deserving of that deal.
Yeah, definitely. I think it works in both favours, doesn't it? It works well for the player because they've got that little bit of security and that's, we'll say, guaranteed wage because it's a job at the end of the day. And it gives them the chance to settle down and not be worried about having to play for your contract. Just know that you've got 2 years to put in performances that mean you do get the longer term deal again. So yeah, it does show the trust that the club have in him.
And listen, you don't play 16 games in the 4-time Super League champions without having your game. Christian Wolff, when he signed that contract, said he understood the game, really good skill set, big body, can kick well and read the game really well. But he'd worked on his physical condition over the last few months and put himself in a position to play. And you can see that he seems to have matured into from going from being one of the younger kids to one of the players who, like, you know what, realise that they deserve to be there and understand what it takes to be a professional at this club.
Yeah, we spoke to Christian after the Cass game when we sent the scratch side over because the week before Ben Davies had been putting the bombs up for the fullback, it like in the pre-match warm-up, and we were saying, we'd noticed that, and he said, yeah, Ben's a clever footballer. Because he started out as a halfback. He's still got that brain to be able to kick and to be able to put a good bomb in. I mean, we saw in the testimonial game again, he's kicking conversions, some which, to be honest, from over near the touchline, are you expecting your third, fourth choice kicker to nail, and he's doing it. So there's obviously something about the lad, as you say, 16 appearances. It was an injury hit season, but he's come in and he wasn't someone who you thought he needs to get out the team anytime soon. He was worthy of his place.
Do you think he'll end up at centre, or will he end up in the second row?
For now, centre, potentially, as he gets a little bit older, he may well end up in the second row. Remember him in the testimonial, it must have been Alex Walmsley's testimonial game, where he went to put a pass out to, I think it was Shea Martin out on the wing. Shea wasn't quite ready for it. It looked like Ben Davies was wrapped up, so he's got the hands of a centre to do that. It may be that, because he does seem like a bit of a bigger lad that eventually does move into the second row, but he's someone who's a ball playing second row.
Obviously, in that regard, you've got Will Hopewati. He's to the second year of his deal, with the club having the option of that third for 2024. And then you've obviously got Mark Percival's 28, still dealing with some injury issues that have plagued him over the last few years. So there's a real opportunity for Ben Davies to get some serious game time again at centre this year. Is his aim to either A, make the club make a decision on Will Hopewati on whether they need to retain his services for next year, given that Ben Davies could slot in that centre spot, or at the very least, if Will Hopewati stays in 2024, Ben Davies needs to be the man who says, I'm going to have that shirt as my own in 2025.
Yeah, and I can almost hear quite a few people listening to this and saying, "Oh, we can't take that option up on Will." But I'd urge caution with that, because if Will has a great year this year, then obviously all bets are off in that regard. Yeah, he's got to be the man pushing for that shirt. Listen, Connie's only got a 1 year deal at the moment as well, so his contract runs out at the end of this current season. So he's got to be the person. Ben's got to be the person who is pushing and pushing and pushing to get that starting centre jersey. Go back to it, 16 appearances. It'll be all the better for them 16 appearances as well. It gets him that know-how, that knowledge, that experience that others, and we always say this about the person coming up behind you, but like Wesley Bruins, like our very own Dan Hill, they've not made them appearances. So he's ahead of them, as his squad number tells you. He's ahead of them. He's got to worry about them lads behind him, but he's then got to go on and push the lads who are in front of him.
It's almost the way the salary cap works as well. The greater Ben's value becomes in the squad, potentially affects the contract negotiations with Connie and Will Hopewati going forward, because obviously it's the value to the squad. It's very strange rugby league the way it works, but there's no reason why you're not potentially keeping it all three again next year, and just juggling salaries around a little bit. But yeah, how many appearances would you be happy with this year? Similar to last year, 16 to 20?
I think that's what he's going to be pushing towards. I think he's going to be pushing that he wants to be involved in as many games as last year, because if he turns around and only plays half a dozen times, it's not necessarily a backward step, but he's going to be thinking, well, I need to do something to push on. So I think he's going to be looking at least hitting what he did this season.
But we don't really want to be seeing him in the halves if we can help it. Because let's be honest, if Ben Davies ends up in the halves, that's because we've got injuries which we don't want.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And he'll do a functional job there. But yeah, you're right. I want to see him at centre. I want to see him if he plays at centre for any stretch of time, him get a good relationship with his winger and his second row, and make a good effort of playing in the centres.
A potential kicking option again this year as well? As goal kicking?
Yeah, well, that's it. Mentioned at the testimonial game, it looks like he can slot him over. So yeah, why not? And it's always good to have that in your armoury.
I just suspect, Kev, we won't. I don't think we're going to put the kicking duties on Lewis Dodd.
No.
I think we've done it with other players when they've come back in the past. You want them to concentrate on their own game, staying fit, and you don't want to add the kicking pressure. So I think Lewis Dodd kicking goals for the foreseeable is going to be out of the question. I don't think that pressure will be put on Mark Percival either.
No.
So for me, it's probably going to be Tommy Makinson, and potentially if Ben Davies is in the team, Ben Davies kicking goals.
Yes. Yeah, agree with that. I think it's a wise theory based on what's happened in the past.
But then all bets could be off because Mr. Wellens may have different ideas to previous coaches.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
We're covering all bases here, Kev.
Can T. Ritson kick goals?
Right, that's our number 21. Ben Davies done and dusted, and we'll be back very, very soon with our number 20. Catch you soon. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.